I'd now like to invest on that note our guest of honor, Elor Bishnoi sir, former DGP, Meghalaya.
Dear Janita, today's chief guest, Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh ji, the Professor Indira Bishnoi, the President, Jambhani Sahitya Academy, Dr. and Professors Pushp Kumar Lakshmanan, the Directors, Law Faculty, Delhi University, and Dr. Deep Narayan Pandey, the Director, SCDR, invited guests, and my dear students. First of all, let me express my sincere gratitude to the organizers, Jambhani Sahitya Academy and SCDR, for having me inviting here and giving me an opportunity to speak on this auspicious occasion. As pointed out by earlier speaker, today is a World Forestry Day, and it is our bounden duty to think about protecting nature and preventing disasters. The appropriate topic of today's discussion is selected by the organizers. As we all know that Guru Jambeshwar landed on this planet as an incarnation of the Lord Vishnu in 1451 AD. Please remember this date. And in 1485 AD, the Bishnoi sect was founded by him. 1536, he left this planet. These three dates we should know and we must know. The Bishnoi sect, it's a sect of Hinduism only, but it has some different traditions, cultures, and ritual of its own also. The Guru Jambeshwar has given us 29 religious principles. As pointed out by Professor Lakshmanan, few principles are closely affiliated with environmental conservation. And there are many indigenous communities in this world who are close to nature, who protect nature, but very few communities in this world who are religiously affiliated towards environmental conservation, very few communities. Let me give few examples as Janita has asked me. One is Bishnoi community. This is the community on the basis of their religious principles. They are committed and dedicated to environmental conservation, and they are willing to sacrifice their lives also. There are so many historical incidents. In 1730 AD, nobody can forget when 363 Bishnois laid down their lives just to stop the cutting of trees. And it did not stop there. It continued, and till today it is continuing, where the people are willing to sacrifice their lives for protection of nature. So this is a religious affiliation. Let me narrate 4 other communities in India who are religiously affiliated with environmental conservation. The Khasi community of Meghalaya. They are known for protecting their community forest known as sacred groves. Those who are related with the forest conservation, they are definitely aware about the sacred groves. Few of you might have visited and seen the sacred groves in Meghalaya. Sacred groves are community protected forest where if anybody enters as a visitor, he is not allowed even to pluck the leaves of the trees. And by unintentional mistake, even somebody has plucked the leaves, he is supposed to drop that leaf before leaving the forest. So that is a commitment. Then Ban Gujar community of the Himalaya, who are nomadic or semi-nomadic in nature. So they are religiously affiliated towards the protection of the trees. And then please remember the 2 tribes. One is Apatini tribes of the Arunachal Pradesh, and second is the Idu Mismi tribes of the Arunachal Pradesh. They are religiously affiliated towards preserving the landscape of their respective areas. They consider tiger as their brothers and tigress as their sister. So these 5 communities come to my mind. Of course, some other tribal communities may be there in Odisha and the Chhattisgarh regions. They are closely and religiously affiliated with environmental nature. So when the Bishnoi sect was founded, there are 29 religious principles which were laid by the Lord Jambeshwar. for their disciples to follow it. It's a different question. Some of them are not religiously followed today. But please remember, because that topic is the disaster. So there are different kind of disaster. One is natural disaster, another is man-made disaster. So the four rules out of those 29 religious principles, please remember rule number 24, 25, 26 and 27. These four rules are related with the drug abuse and intoxication problems. That rule number 24, the Guruji prohibited the consumption of the opium. And rule number 25 prohibited the consumption of the tobacco. And the rule number 26, prohibition of the consumption of bhang, and then of course liquor. These four rules, remember, because these are closely related with the disaster. You may not be aware that drug abuse problem is a very, very serious problem, not only in India, but in all the countries of the world today. And you may not be aware how many drug abusers are there in India as on today. So let me tell you, there are 7 crore youth are taking drugs in India as on today. This is a huge figure. Can you imagine? So this is a man-made disaster. And no country except Vatican City is free from the drug abuse problem. You will be shocked to know that in America, every year, the most powerful country of this planet, in America, every year, more than 1 lakh youth are dying because of drug abuse problem. Even America is not able to control it. So this is a disaster which we can expect in the future. So my advice to all the dear students who are sitting here, all other youths, please say no to drugs. Avoid drugs because your life is more precious as diamond. So say no to drugs and yes to good health. So this was the principle laid down in the rule number 24. Can you imagine? In 1485, Lord Jambheshwar realized the pernicious consequences of the drug abuse problem in the world, which has been now visible, tangible, and very relevant. Then tobacco. See the vision. This is a vision and the reading of the future. In 1485, Guruji realized that consumption of tobacco will cause huge problems in India. And as on today, you will be shocked to know the figure that 13 crore people are consuming tobacco in India. And out of that, 1 lakh people are dying every year because of cancers related with the tobacco consumption. If we can follow these 2 rules, we can prevent the man-made disasters. And third, of course, the consumption of bhang. I don't know how many of you are knowing about the opium, bhang, church, heroin, smack, MDMA. These are the drugs which are causing havoc in this world today. Opium is extracted out of the opium plant. Opium pod you might have seen in the photograph. If the diagonal incision is given, the white milk will come out, and if that milk will remain in the air, evaporates after some time, and it turns into black color, and that is consumed as a opium. It's a kind of semi-solid. And when the opium is treated with the acetic aldehyde, then it is converted into the morphine and finally synthesized into the heroines. So heroin is a very, very dangerous drug. Please avoid bad company. Otherwise, it can ruin your future, not as an individual, but it can ruin the whole society and finally to the entire country. To become a drug addict, you have to take only 3 drugs of heroin. That is a 150 milligram, 150 milligram, 150 milligram, 450 milligram, less than half gram. And it can ruin your career permanently. It can alter your mind, central nervous system, and the damage it can cause and the misery it can cause to your family is unimaginable. So please keep the principle, religious principle given by Lord Jambheshwar in your mind and avoid all these things. And liquor, we all know how much miseries, how much discomfort it is causing to the entire society, entire family. Every year, hundreds of people are losing their life in huge tragedy, and the administration is fighting hard to control the menace. So these four principles are directly related with the disaster because it's a kind of disaster only. If 7 crore people are in the grip of drug abuse, you can imagine that they will become totally unproductive. You can't take any work from the drug addict youth. They will become zero as far as economic productivity is concerned, and they will be liability not only on the family but also on the country as a whole. And economic loss, medical loss, legal loss are tremendous, unimaginable. If you visit the AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences today, and if you see the data, more than 120 people, drug addicts, are visiting daily in the AIMS to get the treatment. This is a shocking. This is just one hospital. You can imagine how many hospitals are attending the drug abusers and how their families are suffering. So this is a kind of disaster. So please keep this thing in mind. Otherwise, I was told that there are 8 panel discussions, technical sessions are also kept. Many experts have come here. They will deliberate in details the issues related with the environmental conservation, Guruji's philosophy, community resilience, and all other things. Community resilience, because I'm from a Bishnoi community, so let me give 1 or 2 examples as far as community resilience is concerned. In 1947, please remember, when the country was partitioned, it has seen the historic migration of the people from one country to another country, and one of the largest migration in the history has ever seen. Bishnois who were living in Pakistan in thousands numbers, they have not suffered any casualty. They have safely migrated to India without much damage, without much injury, because of the community resilience, because the entire community was united as one, and they read the telltale signs of the disaster in advance. They have formulated their own early warning system. They have checked out the rescue routes for escapes and safely escaped, rather because community was united, community was martial in nature. Every household was having one gun license in the village, so that frightened the Muslim righteous, and because of that, they were safely taken to the India. So this is a glorious example of the community resilience. In other resilience, a very, very, very simple example, because I hail from the village, so I can quote 1 or 2 examples from the village also. You may not be aware, in our community, when the elderly people die, we don't cremate, we don't burn the dead bodies, but we bury the dead bodies like Christian and Muslim, although rituals are different, little bit different. So the village, earlier, our ancestors, they were full of traditional wisdom. They laid down the landscape of the village in such a way that the village ways, the village where both side houses are located, every 30-40 meters, there will be big trees. You can call it chopal or whatever it is. So when elderly people died, their dead body was taken on the shoulders by the either sons or the cousin or the relatives. If the lady fetching water from the ponds, if they see the dead bodies, they will stop there, empty their pitchers in the trees so that the trees can get water. Am I right? So that trees can get water. So this is the utilization of the tree, as Professor Lakshmanan has pointed out, that potable water, clean water, availability will be difficult for the future generation. So this is an example of traditional wisdom, how our ancestors, they utilized the water in a judicious and meticulous manner. So many other examples are there. Time may not permit us. We all are eager to hear from our legend, Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh ji, who was architect as far as promulgation and formulation of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is concerned. So with these words, once again, I express my sincere thanks to the organizer for having invited me here and giving me an opportunity. I wanted to speak in Hindi, but because I have seen some foreign students are also sitting here, for their easiness, I decided to speak in English at the 11th hour. Thank you very much.